on, guys? Nick here. Today I have a video to talk to you about with the car. Since it's been a while since I've made one, there's actually a reason for that. The car was actually broken for about a month and a half to 2 months, and I was trying to like pinpoint exactly what the problem was before I made a video about it. So I have it completely figured out now. I know exactly what to do with it, but I'll go into explaining like what happened with the car and what it was doing, and a couple other things that I'm going to be doing within the next few weeks or so. I'm going to explain what happened with the car so that you guys get an idea of what's been going on. So the car was driving completely fine for the longest time. People will keep asking about the supercharger kit, if I have any issues with it. I have no issues with the supercharger kit. I actually have to do an oil change on it coming up very soon. Everything else has been great on the car. The lowering springs are still good. They're not blowing my struts out like everyone said they were going to do. Wheels are good, no bends, no cracks, and that's a shock because NEPA roads are freaking garbage. So that's another good thing. Wheels are good. I'm going to need a new set of tires soon because these ones are getting a little low. I'll still pass my inspection that I have to do this month, but that's probably about it because they're not going to last much longer. So the car's been mechanically sound pretty much the whole time I've owned it. My clutch, I do have the stage 3 clutch to get put in the car, but I'm still on stock clutch. It's not slipping, it's not doing anything weird, so that's a good thing as well. Okay, so the problem that the car has been having is under like 3,000 RPM, when you like put the car under load, it would struggle very hard, and it would stutter sometimes when it got really bad. And it was weird because the car would not tell me what was wrong with it. It would not throw a check engine light. It wouldn't do anything for me. The actual thing that told me what was wrong with the car was, if you guys know, I have an Ecutech tune on the car through Moto East. Their name is now Zero Limit, if that's how you pronounce it. But I do have a tune with them, and I opted to get the Bluetooth dongle that goes down into your OBD2 port and connects to your phone. And the car was not throwing a code, but the tuner was. And I went on my phone, I looked up what the code was, and it was throwing code P0172, which means that the car was running too rich. And that could have been a number of many things that could have been wrong with the car, as simple as cleaning the mass airflow sensor, or as difficult as having to change your direct injectors out of the car, which I was really hoping wasn't the problem. So I was kind of worried about what it could have been wrong with the car. So I started by cleaning the MAF, all the simple stuff. I cleaned the MAF and the car got a lot better, and it drove fine from March 26th until April 11th. And that was a pretty big gap, so I kind of figured that the car was going to be fixed, but that wasn't the case. The car's problem came back, and the car actually threw the code, and the tuner threw the code this time. So I pretty much knew that something was definitely a lot more wrong with the car than I thought. So I ended up cleaning the mass airflow sensor again to see if it would make the problem go away. It went away, but not for as long of a period of time as it did the first time, so I knew something was wrong with it. I thought maybe the sensor was bad, so I ended up buying a new sensor, and the day I was changing the sensor to the new one, I pulled the old one out and it had like oil on it, and that kind of worried me a little bit. And bitch, you did not have the arrow. Okay. So when I pulled it out, there was oil on it, so I was kind of hesitant to put the new sensor in. So I put the new sensor in, but I only had it in the car for like 10 miles. And when I pulled it out, there was like little speckles of oil on it, so I pulled it out immediately so that sensor wouldn't get ruined. Put the old one back in, and I drove the car home that night. Again, it drove like shit, but I got the car home. The next day, I pulled the front bumper off the car, pulled all the intercooler piping off the car, and I found what the problem was. I have oil blow-by and condensation mixing together in my intercooler, because the inside piping that comes off the supercharger was clean. There's no oil on the inside of any of those pipes, probably because of the forced air is causing it to just blow right through, and it doesn't have any time to stick to the walls of the intercooler piping. But once it hits the intercooler where the fins are all inside, so once the oil hits the shit because it was blowing up through the piping and hitting the mass airflow sensor and causing it to get dirty. So that's pretty much the problem. What I have to do to fix this problem, I have to get an oil catch can for the PCV side of the breather hoses that come off of the engine. And the other side, I believe that you can do this with this kit. I have to look into it a little more before I do. But there's another breather hose that comes off of your engine block and goes into the intake right before the supercharger. I'm thinking if you take that hose out and vent it to atmosphere with a filter on the end of it, and then plug the hole that hose went into, that it wouldn't have the problem anymore. So we're gonna see what happens. But the car's problem is pretty much figured out, that I need to get a catch can. Also, to fix the problem so that I wasn't getting any more oil up through for now before I drain the intercooler out, because I have to do that. I cleaned out all the pipes, put the car back together, and I stuck a rag in the intercooler to kind of like soak up as much of the oil as I could before I put it back together. Pulled the rag out, it soaked up a decent amount, put all the car back together, and it's been driving fine ever since. I haven't had a problem. So yeah, the car was broken for a while and I couldn't quite figure it out until the car gave me more information, and then I pulled the car apart. So I'm gonna be able to fix the car. It's nothing too crazy, so I'm very happy about it. So the weekend of May 17th to May 19th, I will be in Carlisle for Import Performance Nationals, I believe it's called. I will be there with NEPA Car Club. I'm a member of their car club, and we're going to be taking our cars there, showing them off. So if you do see us out there, say hi. We don't bite, we promise. But we will be out there, so if I see any of you guys, that'd be really cool. My car will be being judged there, so hopefully they don't hate on me too much for my obnoxious wing on the back that everyone seems to not like. Just kidding. Most people like the wing, which is cool. I absolutely love it. I love that it's on there. It goes with the body lines of the car so well. And it's not an STI wing. If someone else calls it an STI wing one more time, I'm snapping. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I love the wing. It turned out really well. Oh, before I go, I have one more shameless plug for my Dev Sport splitter because I can't give it enough love. You guys know that I've hit multiple things on the highway, including animals and all kinds of other shit. I had some kind of like object. I don't know what it was. It looked like a giant tree branch or something. Someone drove over it in front of me, and the car kicked it up, and then ended up smashing into the front of my car. And I was like, my whole front bumper is gonna be destroyed, and because it hit pretty hard and it sounded pretty bad. So I got off the highway, looked at the car, and the splitter saved my bumper again. I have this tiny little imperfection in the splitter now because of it, but it's just another battle scar to add to it because the thing's like, it seems like the thing's indestructible. I've hit so much stuff with it on the highway and it just holds up really well. So if you haven't yet got a Dev Sport splitter for your car, and I think they still make it, that's one of the best investments I ever made on this car, or else I would have had to buy like 4 front bumpers at this point because, you know, things just like to run out in front of the car and objects like to be left on the highway. So yeah, Dev Sport splitter, the thing's insane. Alright guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for sticking around because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with the car before I made a video about it. I have a couple videos again that I said I have planned, but again, I wanted the car to be fixed first. The Ecutech app that I told you about that helped me with the car, I'm going to be doing a full in-depth video explaining that app, how it works, everything that's included in it, so that you guys, if you do want to buy one and you have an Ecutech tune, you can, and I'm telling you, it is 110% worth it. You can data log to your tuner, you can do performance runs with it. I'm not going to get into everything right now, but I will make a video showing that. I have a couple small lights to install in the back of the car because my tag lights keep blowing out ever since I put this trunk back on the car. So it's probably the stupid like halogen junk bulbs that they keep blowing out. So I have LEDs for that, reverse lights, and all kinds of other fun stuff. I'm gonna try to fix the wiring on my 4th brake light because as a running light it doesn't work anymore, but as a brake light it does. So the wire for the running light is probably not making contact with the pinch that I have it in. So try to fix that, and once that's all done, then we we should be good to go. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you again for sticking around while I figure out what was wrong with this piece of junk. Just kidding, it's not a piece of junk. I just hit 67,000 miles in it, so it's an old fart now. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully I see some of you guys at Carlisle. Take care.